Jim, I'm so excited.
But let's keep it together. At least until the first death.
I hope your front door is locked and your phone is switched off. It's match time. And nothing can come in the way of a head coach and his Blood Bowl.
Hello, welcome everyone. Looks like the game has started. Let me change the status here so that you guys can see what's going on, but this is the second match in the best of 3 for the Blood Bowl 2 World Cup. Let me see, I was a bit blindsided by this. I was actually still waiting for cKnoor. So, cKnoor isn't here yet, but I'll just get started. Best bronze. So, Guinness, are you still interested in joining in? Because I'm apparently looking for a co-host right now. If you are, drop it in over on Skype, and we can have a go at that. So what we have so far is the Orcs with 3 guard, 1 stand firm. The Dwarves also with 3 guard. Orcs have their agility 4 thrower though, which is obviously a pretty serious asset. Yes, let me get my act together. I was kind of hoping to have cKnoor with me already, but I'm sure he'll be with us shortly. So, thanks for tuning in. This is the battle for the bronze in the Blood Bowl 2 World Cup. It is the second match. The first one was won by the Orcs, coached by Spartako, based on penalty shootout. So yeah, that was that was quite a long, intense match. And then there was a bit of a snafu with administrative misclicks, and as a result, the second and potentially third match had to be postponed.
Welcome back, Commander.
Thank you. Which is why we're still waiting on those. So these are the teams that almost made it all the way, but that still have a pretty serious prize to fight for, and of course the glory of managing to become the 3rd best Blood Bowl 2 coach in the world. So earlier on I talked to Guinness about potentially joining in on the stream, so we might actually have the champion joining me for casting this match. Ooh, the Dwarves get a perfect defense, and the Orcs are quite solidly committed to the central position. Let's see if they want to swarm it with guard, or rather prevent getting blocked. I can see it going either way here, really. It looks like it's like Knockoff is not quite willing to swarm it all the way. If Spartako hadn't set up this strongly on the line of skirmish, a perfect defense would have probably hurt him more, actually. But in this case, he's just avoiding the strong central position of the Orcs and blocking the side a little bit. Very, very deep kick, but of course this agility 4 thrower can handle that if he were so inclined. So let me go ahead and post this on post this on social media as well. So, at the moment, the coach Spartako is leading by 1-0 in total games, based on penalty shootout in the first match. So that means that Knockoff has to win this game in order for there to be a third match in this best of 3 series. So, the Orcs have brought a wizard along, which should definitely help their defensive half, most likely. So, we wouldn't expect to see it being used this drive. They can still get their blocks in just fine. However, normally when you block in a situation like this, you want to be able to follow everything up and create a strong position from there. But with these dwarves lined up behind these guys, following up is not very appealing. Yes, very nice seed. Very cute. That scrub. So, yeah, so he gets his POW in here, or his POW push rather, but following up is not too appealing. Which means the dwarves basically get free fend across the board here. Oh, but the first block is already a nice stun there. Elgernond Keckstand. Ooh, that's gotta hurt. A double skulls. I don't think he'll want to reroll this per se. The ball is in a pretty safe place. Even this... Oh, he does. He does. Well, fair enough. How many rerolls does he have? He has 2 remaining after that block. I mean, the main problem when playing against dwarves is just not getting the distance that you would want to achieve. I don't think it would have been too dreadful not to reroll there. If the dwarves had decided to swarm his defense, then he'd really need to get all of his blocks in. There. The pickup happened. He's not going anywhere, but he doesn't really need to yet. So next turn he'll be around this central line. And we'll still have quite... So basically in 2 turns he'll be behind the line of scrimmage if he plans to play a running game, which we do expect Spartako to do. So he still gets a block and a blitz. The blitz will be on this guy, which is useful. Getting the only mighty blow out, if you're lucky, definitely helps a lot. And that's an unfortunate block, so he's going to pick that push here and then stay disconnected. Let's make that happen then. Here we go. For the next, well, let's say 15 minutes, you guys can bet on who will win the second match. Is that what you wanted, Takari? There you go. Is there a reason to blitz from this side and not from the sideline? It basically costs less movement in order to do so, which leaves you more room to reposition. That's the main logic. If you're fine with pushing him here, you can do that from either square. If you wanted to push him more towards the center, then blitzing from the outside makes sense. Having a wizard is good, but the Orcs don't have exactly the kind of team to capitalize on that, although they do have this agility 4 thrower, which helps. Generally, wizards help very agile teams first. Yep, that it is. There was a double skulls and a perfect defense, Squiggy. So, obviously the Orcs prefer a slow blocking kind of team, blocking kind of play. But they'll really need to utilize their strength advantage if they want to get the better of these dwarves. So he decides to stick to one side here rather than keeping his options open. Of course, his real choice where he's going to go is only going to be made next turn. So this decision actually mainly constrains his options. The dwarves were not going to get in his way, so he could have easily picked the center, made more of a threat. But it doesn't matter too much in this case. The real focus will be where these lines are, where the players wind up in terms of where their guard is, how their position looks, and more so in 2 turns from now than next turn, really. Yes, I know, Takari. I know that's what he does, and then he calls it personality. That's so cute. It's a tricky situation though for the Orcs, because they want to connect in order to get their blocks in, but whenever if he connects anywhere, then obviously he's given the first blocks to the dwarves. Normally, when you're receiving, you can take that initiative by making the line of skirmish blocks and stay connected, at least in the center. But the perfect defense has made the situation so that does work. Ooh, that's a bad 1 in 9 here. He's already used one of his rerolls in the last turn. Can't be too happy about using another now. Really, really unfortunate dice for Spartako so far. And you mean people in general, right, Squiggy? Yes. So, still no connected play for the Orcs, which means the Dwarves are able to pretty much just stand here and do nothing. They can blitz something and then head back. And that's definitely not what the Orcs would like to see here. But hanging on to the reroll does seem to make a lot of sense. Yes, Royton, I also thought that we were going to do this game on cKnoor's channel, but cKnoor isn't here yet. So, if he does show up, then we might switch, or he might host here, I'm not sure. We'll have to see what happens. pretty tough situation here. The dwarves have kind of a similar dilemma in terms of how connected to get. However, the advantage for the dwarves is they don't even need to go forward. They can afford to just stay here. Yeah, he decides to use Dauntless rather than bring in 2 assists. Yeah, sorry, that's Mrs. Sage in the kitchen right there. Alright, so this puts some pressure on. Let's see, this is a blitzer 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, and the line where the thrower currently is just under a threat, which means he pretty much has to start his turn by protecting him. For instance, moving up this side. Ooh, and the dodge is good too. Now the orcs are really in a bit of a pickle. They don't have the ability to advance. They also don't have the ability to switch sides. And this guy means that they need to get this situation safe before they do anything funnier. So I think we will see them trying to switch sides, but this situation doesn't help very much there. It seems like the more interesting moments are not going to be in the next turn again. But we will see the orcs consolidate their position and hopefully get some strength advantage and some situational advantage, probably in this corner. That's what I would expect. So these dwarves have the luxury of defending with a full squad that is not connected, which is really comfortable for them. So I guess we will see the orcs form up a cage somewhere around here, hoping to at least give these guys a little bit of disadvantage. Well, the orc blitzer is still pretty stuck here between these 4 guys. I would not expect him to blitz out and dodge. I would expect a very solid cage in the center field. It's only turn 3, but, you know, being on the line of scrimmage with 0... Oh, he does not cage up in the center field at all. Instead, he still tries to push for the left flank. He has to really start getting some way forward, which means giving up blocks, unfortunate as it is, and hoping to be able to return them. The good news for the orcs is that the Troll Slayer is all the way over on our right flank, which means that he does not need to worry about getting surfed here that much this turn at least. He does also have this stand firm, which might help. Thank you, Seed. I would not be too happy trying to push this flank, but it could be a diversion. It could be a lure to get the dwarves to defend more strongly around this side. He still needs... Well, he could get on the carrier but not blitz him, which isn't too terrible. But by committing himself to one side, he allows the dwarves to determine where to defend. He's got something of a position here, but, you know, this can be blitzed, this can be blocked, this can be blocked. But switching sides will be very hard if he consolidates around this side rather than keeping his options open. There we go. Creating more of a presence over on the right flank. That should help. Now the orcs are wholly lacking. Yes, that is a leader. That is correct, Black Seed. That's Black Orc does have leader. That is one of the 3 rerolls he started the game with. Just a stun, but still a useful armor break. makes his position on the right flank even stronger. And of course, if he does decide to switch sides, he can rely on the agility 4 passing play that this thrower has. But of course, that's usually more of a last resort type of deal. Let me just put this up on social media. I should really have people who can help me with that, because doing so on stream is not the most professional thing in the world. Yes, and there. Yeah, I would have launched the stream sooner, but I was kind of waiting for cKnoor to do his. Let's hope he shows up still. I would consider it, Monkey G. I would rely on your restraint. Oh, that would be fine, the Black Seed. That would be fine. So, Dwarves will need to do something about this corner, at least. They want to stick in here as much as they can, stay in the way. They don't need all of these players, of course, as long as they've got 6 of them. 2, 4, 6. They can basically spare 4 guys to deal with this corner, which is possibly not quite enough. He does have 2 guard in there, but getting a 3rd might help, and he does get the 3rd guard. The runner is able to switch sides, meaning he actually gets to utilize his mobile guard for once. Very, very nice, guys. Okay, so we have the blitz on this side as expected. Oh, but it's bad. And wow, that was a quick reroll from Knockoff. No hesitation, and he rerolls into a push, which means he still does not get the result that he's looking for. He does get the 2nd assist for a 2-die on this Black Orc. More pushes! Knockoff cannot be pleased with that. That's 6 block dice and 6 failures right there. So, time for the elf cage. Oh, not quite the elf screen. But this will do as well. It does mean he exposes his runner, so some armor 8 at the front, but it also means that you can't easily blitz one guy off without staying in the tackle zones of another. So this is a better situation than Spartako must have been expecting. I think we'll see him try and work his way through to this pocket. And if enough of these guys can escape, then that should give them a very, very solid position to work from. And we see a blitz from a Black Orc right here, and it's good. That leaves enough room to knock him down, reposition, block here. Yeah, that's a pretty good start to this turn. 2, 3, 4, 5. You really don't want to be passing to this guy though. That's quite a long distance, quite a risk. So I imagine he might create a pocket here and then reposition for a better situation next turn. I think we won't see any silly... Oh, but we do have a cKnooring threat, which is of course very helpful. Forces the dwarves to change their positioning, get less in the way and more spread out. Oh, and another good block by the runner this time. He's gonna push him here and follow to get himself... That's on the runner I meant. So Spartako will be following here probably to position himself for the next block. It does mean we have one guy who will be left standing here. But this is already a serious positioning advantage for the Orcs. The Dwarves rolling so many pushes means that the Orcs now have taken back some of the initiative that they initially lost due to the perfect defense. So he decides not to follow up, which is fair enough because he can mark this from another side, but he wants to keep the Troll Slayer marked as well. I would be surprised if he stayed on the side here though. I would definitely expect him to center out a little bit. Keep one guy on here maybe to run past if the dwarves give up the side. But in general I would say move where the players are going. Don't keep the ball so much to the side. Yeah, skinks like any roll that isn't normals, basically. Doubles are great. Lodge, sure hands. Agility 4 is the best. I think strength is my least favorite roll on the skinks, although I still would take it over doubles, which is kind of counterintuitive, illogical. So, come on, Knockoff. Sorry, come on, Spartako. Do something. I really think he has to move the ball closer to this this sphere of influence of his. I guess this one is mostly here to mark, keep people occupied. Will this be the corner of a cage? Well, he's had long enough to consider his position. Okay, so he wants to maintain this threat to this flank as a very serious threat, which does of course limit the dwarves in their response to this angle, but that means that this guy is basically acting more as a decoy or a plan B than as a real plan. Fair enough. I'm not sure I'm, actually I'm pretty sure I'm not in favor of this plan by Spartako. But it does mean that the dwarves cannot afford to shut down this right flank without also giving up too much of the defense that is present on the left flank. Then again, it does mean he's not making a whole lot of headway. But he's still got 4 turns after this. Definitely movement, Royton, definitely movement. I've seen an armor 9 skink once. That was pretty weird. And it was funny that you could use it as an extra part of your wall, but he could have been movement 10, which is just so much better. Because it sounds like, well, he's my best skink, so I want to keep him alive. But the reason he's your best skink is because he can do skink stuff. And being faster means you can do skink stuff in different places and do more of it, which is what they're for. So, Spartako is once again thinking everything through. I think he can get some serious movement going this side if he focuses all of his guard, but it doesn't look like that's what he's doing. Ah, he's decided it's time to commit. So there is a frenzy here, which makes this situation fairly tricky. He does not put the stand firm there. What's the plan here? Very, very curious set of actions. I guess he could mark this guy? No. I mean, he has a stand firm that can just get in the way, right? If he wanted to really prevent a surf, then he could. So I wonder what his rationale is behind the situation. It looks like he's getting more connected, more fortified. Probably swinging this guy around to get in their faces. He's decided that he's got enough of the dwarves occupied in this flank so that he can actually consolidate here on the left again. Seems like it. But he's gonna have to hurry because there's only 3 turns after this. And while he can do a passing play if he must, yes, that's what I was expecting. Okay. So he makes sure that poor Keck the Sad Drunk does not have too much opportunity to misbehave here. He could still get blocked off, but I guess we will see a blitz to make that less likely as well. Yes, there we go. That helps. See. And getting the guard in there is also a pretty helpful advantage. Yeah, I could see this working. He stuck to his side pretty effectively. He's lured enough of the dwarves over to the right to keep them busy. And now he's pushing hard on the left. His next turn needs to be good. If the dwarves have a good turn now, or the orcs have a bad turn, then he might struggle with the clock, with getting past in time. But if his next turn is good, then I think he's home free. So this line orc is keeping these guys busy. I expect he will get some assistance from Black Orc Phoenix over here. Oh, if he doesn't run out of time first. There we go. That's exactly what I was expecting him to do. How about this situation though? Doesn't he want this guy in there somewhere? Because now he's just hanging back and there's really very little point to that. 4-minute turns are quite long, but I guess Spartako was not quite done thinking here. Which gives the dwarves some opportunity, some initiative that they would have liked to see taken away still. Skinks are definitely not meant for building walls. No, certainly not. Yeah, Mighty Blow did make the difference there. So the dwarves have 3 Mighty Blow now, whereas the orcs still have 0. And the orcs do have some wasted, well, mostly wasted team value in this dodge, because they face a bunch of tackle. Nevertheless, the orcs do have a wizard. And thanks for the follow, Hidden Pants. So far it's been pretty mild. There was a perfect defense, there was some double sculling, but the orcs are the orcs made a bit of a pass by on the right side and are now focusing on the left after all. Well, he looked like he was getting on top of things there for a moment, but it looks less so again. His next turn will need to be at least not bad. One more movement here and a go. That's a good go. He'll want to get behind here as well. Well, the orcs do have an agility 4 ball carrier, so getting one guy free and running might actually help get past, but no, I agree. So the scoring threat was meant to be this guy, I think. That's just a push. So right now he's got a 1 die on him, but this guy has blodge, so that's not terrible. This guy also has a 1 die, but no follow-up. Pushing into a guard would be another 1 die. So we'll probably see this runner assist here, so that this becomes a 2 die, in this case with tackle. Yeah, and the tackle is good, which helps the defense a lot for the dwarves. Yeah, I really would have preferred the push towards the right flank from Spartako. He had quite a solid situation going on here for a while, and if he had moved his cage to the center, maybe connected a couple of guys, but at least gave these guys some reinforcements, then I think he could have made a push through. And now he's got to be pretty desperate in his offensive play. I mean, sure, he's got an agility 4 pass guy, so he can move the ball a long way if he has to, but relying on that. Hey there, Mystic Jonuk. Knockoff is down by 1 game, so Spartako has won the first match, and this is the second match. the first match went to overtime, and the Dwarves had lots of rerolls going into overtime, but they, in the end, lost to penalty kicks, because Knockoff spent all of his rerolls on the overtime drive, and then still didn't score. I do not think we will see this Black Orc catch. I think it's more likely that we'll see the Black Orc blitz this runner free, and we will see the Spartako blitzer run off to form a receiving threat. That seems more likely. Which, to be fair, if he blocks if he connects here and blitzes there and then marks this guy, then Spartako does make a decent receiving threat. But he still needs to have the ball. Nope, that's not what we're seeing. He still needs to get the ball there, and that's not going to be easy. That's not going to be reliable. That's the kind of plan you use when plan A fails. And in this case, plan A failed not because things went especially terrible for him, but just because it didn't quite work out in terms of planning. Spartako again taking lots of time to think. Yes, plan B, exactly. Which, you know, it needn't have been... It needn't have come to plan B in the first place, I think. Is he moving back? Exactly. Well, I think plan A would have worked if he'd executed it well, actually. So, what I said about the way to to get the blitzer free is indeed what he's trying to do, although he didn't mark the Troll Slayer at all, which I would have expected. So now this blitzer can get behind a screen here, maybe, kind of, if... Maybe there. That's not bad. Yep. There he goes. Alright. So... he only needs 9 squares, so 2 turns is quite a bit for him. So this is a real threat for next turn. He really needs to do something about this blitzer, though. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, smack. That's a 1 GFI, 1 die. There we go. That helps. So, but even if there were no one in his way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he would still be looking at a 3+ pass or a go. And that's assuming there's no one in his way, which is quite a lot of... Yeah, that's an interesting thing, Tsukari. I've had situations where I commented on people's performance. Although, to be fair, I'm usually most negative when people are unpleasant rather than just, you know, new at the game. I tend to be pretty forgiving if people just don't know the game all that well yet. So I'm willing to forgive myself. But the other day I had a game where my opponent was convinced that I couldn't be the sage from tabletop because he would have known how to play Blood Bowl. That was interesting. So the Dwarves want to get in the way. The Orcs have 2 cKnooring threats. Well, this one isn't a cKnooring threat next turn, but you don't want to score next turn anyway. So the Dwarves have to... the Dwarves kind of have to choose between what to block. they can really swarm the carrier, but the carrier can get away. They want to be able to respond to what happens next turn, which means they want a pretty solid representation here. I imagine that this guy might get blitzed, allowing them to prevent a pass in the next turn. But let us see how Knockoff handles this. So he wants to mark all the potential receivers probably, but of course a marking with a single player does not suffice, and if he overcommits on this side, this guy could still score. These ones can't, the thrower himself can't. This one could in theory, but you know, that's not going to happen. So we're really looking at, realistically, 4 scoring threats, with this one as something of an outside chance. I would not be at all surprised to see this guy getting blitzed, so that he can make sure to mark Spartako here. It also means that he's got a strong position around the center where he can still respond to whatever Spartako, the coach, comes up with for next turn. Well, well, well. Tick-tock. Well, you know, I mean, when opponents like that are willing to talk in chat, I usually do offer them my advice, right? Because not everyone knows how to play. Not everyone knows to look it up. Alright, so he didn't go for the black orc that I pointed to, he went for the other one, which is not bad either. He does still have the resources to blitz him free if need be, but now that gets a lot harder. Oh, actually, if this guy stays unmarked, it doesn't get harder at all. Uh-oh. 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 Time. Time. Huh. Right, so 2 tackle zones on this guy. Only 1 tackle zone here. Will we see a desperate pass to Coach Spartako, or rather, the player Spartako here? This guy is not going to do anything useful. This guy probably isn't either. He's just getting up. Pretty sure of it. We could see this guy being removed and the ball passed to the black orc. Which, of course, you know, is a 75% catch, which is... there's worse odds of the game, let's leave it at that. But yeah, running out of time this often on a 4-minute turn game shouldn't really be necessary. Speaking of which, we're already a minute into Spartako's turn. I would be pretty overthinking things as well. Actually, I'm afraid I would be silly enough. I would probably be silly enough to be streaming it myself. $226. Yes, so that's the kind of the play I was expecting. I wasn't expecting it to come from this side though. There's very little to be gained from that square over this one. But it doesn't really matter, does it? Because he's just gonna push him here and follow, I guess. Taking the extra time to think, probably. He's already decided where he's pushing. Oh, really? What? What? What's the plan? Is he just gonna dodge this out and hope for the best? Oh, man. He's not in scoring position right now. So if he makes this block, which I don't see why you want to make that block. I mean, that's not your priority. Misclick? Yeah, I guess it could be a misclick. Or a brain fart or something. I don't know. He's probably pretty annoyed with himself right now.
So cunning you could put a tail on it and call it a weasel.
So this guy's movement 4, this guy's movement 5, he's got movement 6, so he can get away here. Which by now must sound pretty appealing compared to the alternatives. I think we'll see him go somewhere like here, and then him mark something there. This guy's a problem though, potentially. Yeah, so he would go, say, here. We would get a block there, a marking here. This guy would swing around, and then a pass and hope for the best, I'm afraid. Come on. Come on, do something. 24 seconds. Dude, he's not... Did he get a heart attack or something? Alright, cKnoor is here, will be joining us shortly. Oh, a disconnect apparently. Ah, that would explain it. Okay. Still. Right, so he made the dodge. And he made the ghost, just as I was predicting, actually. He wants to make the second go... Well, not necessarily. This guy's a problem, though. He really needs to go one square north, doesn't he? Oh, fails the GFI. Failed the GFI. So this guy is a problem. Then again, he's got blodge, so he's relatively safe. He's going for the pass now. Or does he wait till next turn? He doesn't have the reroll for the catch, so I guess he could wait for next turn. I have no idea why he went down. Actually, yeah, I think it's to hide from this guy. That doesn't make any sense, does it? No, he... So then 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so he went down so that this is... So that the... Oh! My bad. He went down so that if he goes 5 squares, that's a 3+ pass with no go. That's why he went down. And then he still has 6 movement left to get in there. So he was counting out the squares, saying, if I pass next turn, how do I make sure I don't have to make any GFIs for it? Fair enough. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Seed. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I mean, I've had plenty of time where I had nothing to say, but I haven't been exactly speechless about stuff yet. So why isn't he blocking here then? Is he worried that on a push he's in a worse position than he is now? I guess he's disconnecting again or something, because this can't be good. He's not thinking here. I don't believe that. He wants to make this block, pretty sure. He wants to move this guy as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He could go here with the guard stand firm after he's reconnected. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I would put my guard stand firm there. That would make the pass a lot more likely next turn. There's a lot of free dwarves, yes, but a lot of them are kind of far away. See, this guy can't reach the ball. This guy, or sorry, the receiver. This guy can't. This guy can reach him, though. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But being in the way helps. Yeah, I really hope that's not the case, Monkey G. I need my soundboard. I didn't turn it on yet. cKnoor is trying to get out of the undead beta right now, so he'll be joining us shortly. Oh, and the Blitzer dodges out to create an extra threat as well as a screen against the Nope, no screen, just a threat then. Alright, still an assist, which is impossible to cancel. Although he could just come from here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nope, this guy is still in the way enough. Yeah, so a double cKnooring threat. But he still needs to do something with this guard stand firm guy. Another disconnect. I hope this game doesn't go to a too many disconnect concession. that would be kind of sad. There we go. Yay, it works. Oh, over. Let me see if I have Skype muted still. Hello, cKnoor. Hello, cKnoor. This is interesting. Do you still have Skype muted or anything? I'm not sure whether you can hear me.
I can. I realized I turned the Skype audio off since we cast last time.
Yes, I figured that might be it. Welcome.
Thank you
for joining me.
I had planned to join earlier, but then I got caught up in other things.
Yes, these things happen. So, let me bring you up to speed. Are you watching the game right now?
I am. Turn 7 for the Alcohogs.
Yes. So, the Orcs, Spartako's Orcs have been advancing pretty slowly. They suffered a perfect defense, which meant they couldn't quite get the blocks in that they really wanted to see, and have been quite struggling with their offensive play. Now they do have 2 receiving threats forward now after a pretty extensive struggle, and they've also been disconnecting a couple of times as well.
Ooh, so that's not what you want to do in the 3rd place final.
Exactly. So I hope this game won't come to a disconnect concession. That would be quite the icing on the cake for this best of 3.
So who won? I'm totally blanking right now. Who actually won the first game?
Spartako won the first game on penalty kicks. You remember that?
Yes.
Knockoff had 5 rerolls going into overtime, but then spent them all.
Oh yeah, that was that game.
That was that game, exactly. It seems like so long ago.
Yeah.
Thanks for setting up the host also, by the way.
You are welcome.
Yeah, I had anticipated that we would be doing this on your channel, but obviously I couldn't really initiate that before you were here.
I mean, since you have the other ones up, I can always put it up on my channel as well. But if we get a 3rd game, we can swap over if people want that.
Yeah, that seems sensible.
So how's it looking at first half? Who do you think, based on the play so far, who's grabbing this game?
It seems like Spartako is undeservedly going to squeeze in this drive. I mean, he does have the agility 4 thrower, and keeping him as a plan B is sensible, but he had the power to push through at some point, and then it's like he didn't want to commit. And the fact that he has those receiving threats out there now really required some die rolling and some, in my opinion, iffy decisions, or maybe misclicks. We're not even sure. We were thinking he basically pushed a Troll Slayer next to the Blitzer Spartako instead of away from him, so that he still needed to dodge out in order to form a receiving threat. Oh, which we really were puzzling about with the chat.
Is this a new Spartako Blitzer? Because this one only has 2 SPP. I recall Spartako the Blitzer having more SPP beforehand, but I don't actually remember.
Maybe that was after the admin concession?
It might have been. It's very likely. It'll be interesting to see what he does with Dago's foam beard here, the Dwarven Blitzer. That's running forward. So going straight for the thrower here then.
Yeah, so he just wants to get a tackle zone onto the thrower to make it harder for him to get out. I'm not sure I like that though.
Yeah, like, I would assume he'd like go straight down from here to make the thrower run further to the right, but it seems like he's not moving yet. So,
but the thrower is just going to get blitzed free, right? Which is fairly trivial.
That's true.
And he doesn't need the blitz action.
Oh, that
makes more sense. That makes a lot more sense, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's still just assuming they can blitz. Well, can they actually? I was going to say, oh, well, 2 rerolls. This should probably be rerolled. There's no reason not to.
Indeed.
Add a 5.
But he doesn't really have anyone free.
No, that's right. I mean, he has 2 blitzers here, but they can't really I'm wondering if this is just a 1 die
2
blitz, or it could also be the wizard lightning bolt coming here, but I don't think that.
I would be very surprised. That seems like a waste. I would expect him to try the 1 die.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't 1 die, then he needs to move around to do a GFI and then still have a 4+ pass, which is, you know, not something you want to risk your game on. If the 1 die is a push...
Let's see, 2, 3... Yeah.
It's still 4+ actually.
Yeah, and Knockoff can't score from this anyway, so he doesn't have to play... He doesn't actually have to make sure that he holds onto the ball if he fails. Like, he doesn't have to protect it.
2, 3, 4. 1 GFI would already get him a 3+ pass, and the 1 die, or sorry, a 4+ pass. 2, 3, 4, and the 1 die isn't really better, because if the 1 die becomes a both down, then he still needs to go there.
Well, but if it's a push, like, let's see, 1, 2, 3. So
if it's a push, that's as good as making the GFI.
Like, he can get up to, if it's a push, not follow up, he can get up to the down black orc without any GFIs with a dodge, and that's a 2+ dodge.
1, 2.
Oh well, now he doesn't have. Now he can get one even further up if he wants.
Yeah, so now you can make a GFI for a 3+ dodge, I guess.
2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, he didn't go for the. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm slightly surprised. Well, maybe how many you've been counting? How far up does he have to go to get a 3+ here?
He needs 1 GFI, so now he has a 3+.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, if you need 1 dodge or 1 go, it doesn't really matter which one you do, unless you have skills that help. The pass is good. The catch is good. So the Orcs take their 1-0 lead.
Well, if you roll 2 5s, you can do essentially anything you want.
Yeah,
almost.
pretty much. Yes. Agility 1, not a problem. Is he seriously thinking about doing blocks? Can't be.
What is a... Is he trying to do it? No, he wouldn't do a hand up. There's no point. Well, I guess he has to reroll, but no, he just wants to.
No.
Wow.
That would have been pretty dreadful.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be pushing it with agility 4. But with agility 3, you just don't do that. No way.
No, I was just like, why is he moving that piece there?
If he needed to make a go for it, it would actually make perfect sense.
Yeah, no, it would. Okay, so 1-0 for the Orcs.
Yes.
This is going to be tricky for the Dwarves.
And they need to win this one in order to even have a chance at a third game.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if they can do some damage in the last turn. I guess in theory they can still get a riot, but
in theory they can score with movement 6 and 2 frenzy, but I've never seen it done.
No.
I've seen charts of how it's supposed to be done, but that's about it.
It's one of those things where you're like, yeah, this isn't even if you just like have the normal setup with humans or like rats, you're like, yeah, this isn't, in theory it's not that hard, but you actually have to get a lot of things have to go your way with pushes and whatnot. So even then, but it seems like Spartako does not want any of his precious orcs hurt, other than his guard. Nope, that was just me misclicking. So some stinky linemen on the LOS.
Yeah, and he's positioned in such a way that he cannot be blitzed by anyone but a runner, I think. Not even by a runner, unless there's a quick snap. And the reason he's so far forward is mostly that he's able to respond to a riot situation. And just to make sure that no insane stuff happens, he's also setting up against the 1 turn.
Yeah. And since he's got 11, he can even do the proper setup.
Yes. The 2 tackle zone one. Exactly. So Spartako pulling through with the wizard still in the bag.
Yeah.
They even both have their reserves still.
And apples, right? Yeah.
Yes. We've seen precious little armor break so far.
Well, I mean, armor value 9 versus armor value 9 tends to get less, but we do have like guard and mighty blow here, quite a lot of it.
Yeah,
so
the dwarves have 3 mighty blow. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that is interesting. Is the stand firm on Spartako's dear old Blitzer new? So I don't think I've either haven't seen it or forgotten it. In any case, it's an interesting choice.
For this matchup, it makes some sense. I mean, the frenzy is a bit of a threat sometimes.
Yeah.
And it synergizes well enough with guard.
But I'd still be tempted to go for mighty blow.
Just blitz the troll slayers and break stuff.
Yeah. Because you're not really worried about the longbeards anyways. Like you want to punch the armor value AV8 once, and if you can get them down, then you're pretty happy with yourself. But let's see how much damage they can do.
Quick snap. I want to see a dwarf one-turner. I really do.
Yeah, I mean it's.
But
this is probably one of the best setups he could hope for.
He does have his runner there. And and the fact that Spartako put his 3 line orcs in the center rather than spread out actually makes it easier. But I don't think... No, that's not what we're seeing here.
Nope.
Aww.
But it does mean the troll slayers do get to push forward rather than to the side, so I'm sure they're happy about that. And a vanity pass here, just in case. But I assume we're going to see the blocks first.
I'm really disappointed. I would have loved to see him try it. I mean, obviously you expect it to fail.
Yeah.
But just the idea of seeing it attempted would already be a blast. And Quick Snap would make it, you know, probably go from a 0.001 chance to a 0.01 chance or something.
Oh, I really... Since he did the chain push, I was like, oh, he's doing it. And you're like, no, he's not. He's pushing.
That's not where the runner is.
So it's
no. Yes. Still constraining.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, here we go.
Still constraining where you push is sensible, right?
So I just foul them. Get them out of here.
Well, even if you've got 12 players, fouling a line orc when the orcs also have a bench. I mean, if they didn't have a 12th player themselves, I would say sure. Why not?
I don't like. I would do it with my own Longbeard, and then bank on the fact that I'm more durable.
Well,
but
you do have more mighty blow, yeah.
Just to get someone out, because I'm pretty sure Spartako is not going to use the apple on the replacement line orc. But I guess we'll find out soon enough. Moving, oh, well. Huh. Oh, okay, yeah.
And then a 3-die here.
Okay, now, well, this is, Yeah. Well, this is a setup for a foul, but yeah, it's not the it might be the foul I want, not necessarily the foul you should do.
I think the setup just grew that way and wasn't really intended for it.
Well, I mean, if he instead had pushed the line orc, then there wouldn't have been an opportunity for a foul. Yes.
Oh, looks like you're right. There we go.
Let's see what happens.
And just a stun.
Is but a scratch.
That's nice.
Hey there, I love making good Blood Bowl videos for you guys, but it does take a whole lot of time. And as a streamer and YouTuber of such a niche game, I really rely on viewer donations to fund the channel. So if you really enjoy these videos and would like to drop a little something my way, you can find the links to how to do so in the video description. Thanks, folks. So the Alcohogs have a lot of work cut out for them. They need to win this game in order to even advance to a third match.
Yep.
And the Orcs have a wizard, which the Dwarves cannot be too pleased about.
No.
Even so, scoring early is not going to help them either, so they're really playing for overtime here.
Yeah, I would assume that's the case. But like, even then, of course, the worry is that if the Orcs do a good job and they end up in a scoring position on turn 7, Spartako is just gonna lightning bolt the ball carrier, and then it's at least a 3+ to pick it up, if not worse.
Yes.
Because it's not. I mean, it's not a sure thing that you're going to have more than one agility 3-piece standing around next to the ball.
Yeah, so I think that's probably the best thing he can hope for. Or he might just be scared enough of that situation to run it in turn 7.
Yeah.
And give the Orcs a chance at a 2-turn in return.
I was going to say, if he can get rid of the plus agility thrower, but he can't because the plus agility thrower isn't on the pitch right now, which is actually odd, but the plus agility thrower was off the pitch on turn 8, so this might just be a case of Spartako not realizing that the thrower's not on the pitch.
Or just not having gotten around to switch him in yet. I would be fielding him. I would
too, just because surely your game plan has to be to stop the Orcs from scoring, and one of the ways to do that is to wizard the ball carrier and steal the ball at some point. Yeah, there we go. Now he's back on the pitch.
There he is.
Probably don't want to have him standing there, though. That seems scary.
She, I guess. Andrea?
Yeah, no, yeah.
I don't think I would... The situation we were discussing before about running it in turn 7 because you're scared of the wizard.
Yeah.
I don't think I would do that because, well, at least assuming you have a pretty safe cage situation. The reason is, if he does use the wizard turn 7, and you manage to run in the ball, then at least you got the wizard out before overtime.
Yeah.
Because if you go into overtime with the wizard still hanging over your head, then even the overtime toss isn't anything safe.
Yeah, no, that's super scary. Somehow, Knockoff has to make sure that Spartako uses the wizard in the second half. Which, I mean, that's difficult to begin with. And the fact that you have to position your players in such a way that either Spartako sees an opportunity to grab the ball, steal it, and secure it, which of course you don't want, or you have to push hard enough that he's forced to use it at the end, and then you pick it up and run it in anyways. But yeah, this is probably this is an uphill climb if I've ever seen one. Then again, we might see a pitch animation and 4 orcs gone, at the kickoff results here.
Yeah, that has to be what Knockoff is hoping for, to really remove some players.
Mm-hmm.
Guinness, the champion, is asking whether he is still invited for a brief cameo appearance. I would say yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out how to add him to the current conversation.
There should be a plus on your thing. Yeah.
Oh, I can actually drag him in, apparently.
Oh, well, something
Yes.
good.
How intuitive. At least that's what it looks like.
Well, I guess we'll find out. Maybe he too has muted Skype. So, oh, we'll find out soon enough.
A hello to both of you casters.
Howdy.
Hello,
cKnoor
Guinness.
and the Sage.
Thank you for joining us.
It's nice to see that the bronze match or what I've been calling the undercard finals is getting some press. Thank you both for casting this. This is really awesome.
I mean, it's
Sure.
still it's. I don't think just because Knockoff and Spartako didn't make it to the grand final, they've played some amazing Blood Bowl up to this point.
I completely agree.
So I mean, it's rare that you get to see this high level Blood Bowl, as in where both coaches are really good at. Holy.
Oh.
That is
Dwarves.
probably an amazing kick. Not only does it start raining, but it's right on the front lines.
Yeah, the front lines aren't too bad per se. I mean, at least there aren't orcs super close, so he can set up his cage without having to fight for it.
And
But
there's
that rain-
and there's no guard. And I was gonna say there's no guard and there's no strength 4 on the LOS. There we go.
Oh my
Okay.
Yes.
Let's see. Will we
It's
say
only a lino.
It's only a
And now it's
lino.
Blood Bowl.
Using an apothecary here, of course, doesn't necessarily mean that the player comes back unless a badly hurt is rolled. So
I
this,
highly doubt Spartako will use his medic for this.
He's got a reserve anyway, so
Yeah.
what's the point?
well,
I am really disappointed in Knockoff for not moving players to protect the ball beforehand, because that could have been huge.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. You know where they're going to go, and the blocks aren't going to change that, so you want them there first.
I think so. I think the reason he didn't is because he wanted to move. He didn't want to move the troll slayers or the any of the well. I was going to say runner, but then he moved up the runner. So that's kind of my assumption was that, okay, I want this Longbeard that's on the LOS, but I have to free him first. But then he moved everyone else, so that was clearly wrong.
Yeah, I just
I
think
think
that's the kind of play that causes you trouble in games like this, where you have to save your rerolls, and suddenly he could have let that one go, but he didn't.
I'm not sure he could have.
Yeah, like, because first 2-die block on the first turn, not re-rolling it both down. I mean, yeah, sure, if you've secured the ball up to this point, maybe.
In all fairness, that happened to me twice in the World Cup. The first block on the LOS, I got a double skulls or a double downs, and I just took it because I'm lizards, I need my rerolls.
Yeah.
I think other teams are perfectly capable of doing it. Puts them on the back foot right at the start, but it's only 3 extra blocks that somebody gets when they bring in the reinforcements. The fact that he didn't protect the ball ahead of time, I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, absolutely agreed.
I am slightly surprised by this, though. The fact that Knockoff went for the line orc with the blitz rather than the blodge blitzer that's one step behind.
I'd even rather have seen him just hit the guard blitzer that's over closer to the ball.
Oh! Well,
the bounce
it's
is
good
good.
scatter at least.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna fail in the rain, you might as well fail with a snake eye.
Indeed.
Like it's
Use
way
up those
worse to-
ones on an important roll like that.
Yeah, like if you roll 3 and then 3 again, you're like, what the freaking
Yeah.
rain ruining everything.
Now, in a really unusual set of choices, Spartako could actually hit the blitzer with Mighty Blow into a space so he could chain the lineman onto a player to cause the ball to scatter in the hopes the ball would come forward. I don't think he will, but it's still a crazy option.
It would need to scatter forward twice to be remotely useful, though.
Yeah, but on the other hand, the assumption you're kind of running with is that if it scatters onto a dwarf, the dwarf wouldn't be able to catch it because it's raining. So it's 2 squares out of 8.
Even if it wasn't raining, it's still a 6 for them to catch it when because there would be a tag on them.
And it's 3 squares out of 8 because the dwarf that you put in there for the chain push would also qualify.
That's true. Yeah.
But then again, if it bounces back, it's not really a problem either, because at least you get the dwarves running the wrong way.
I mean, I'm always very pro pushing things into other things, just because things tend to get worse.
Well, on top of that, it would also put it in a situation where both the runners would get tied up and have to be freed before one of them could go pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but simply making the situation less under dwarven control is something to be desired. I guess that's kind of what you mean, cKnoor.
Yeah. Especially in this case, Spartako has no urgency when it comes to actually scoring. And if he can put Knockoff in a position where Knockoff has to be like, crap, I have to do a handoff in the rain, or I have to do a bad pass to even have a chance to win this, then that's probably a good thing.
I think we're going to see this blitzer marked by one of the Black Orcs. I really think Spartako wants to play connected now to prevent the dwarves from repositioning and getting a safe.
Part of me wants to see him just. Well, I know that's not going to happen, but I do desperately want him to see all the dwarves pushed in together and then fireball them. It's funny, if a really bad tactic.
I'm a firm believer that the only time you use a fireball for attrition is when you're playing COL and you just want to grief a chaos team and then concede.
Well, I've never conceded in Blood Bowl 2, but I've used attrition fireballs on turn 16, which is pretty fun.
I tend to whenever I'm streaming and I get a wizard, I'm always like, okay, so this is a wizard. You never ever use anything but the lightning bolt, and then I'm almost always going to use the fireball anyway. So I'm like, I can get 6 people, and then I say this is really bad, and then it usually turns really bad.
Yeah.
Or it goes amazingly well, and the other guy rage quits. That has happened as well several times.
My logic with the fireball is that I only use it if I think it's better for the purpose of grabbing the ball than the lightning bolt.
Yeah. I mean, in some cases, if you have a perfect 5-man cage with the ball carrier in the middle and then guard pieces in all the corners, and you're fast and mobile enough that you only need to get in on one corner to open up the ball, it might actually be useful to use the fireball. But then again, you could just use the lightning bolt. Fireball is so fun. See, this is why I'm never in any of these championship playoffs, because I'm too tempted to do what's fun rather than what's good.
That's kind of what the game is all about, really. Some of us have taken it a bit too far, maybe, in terms of taking it seriously when really it's supposed to be a half a joke game first and foremost.
Yeah, I mean I guess that's kind of how Blood Bowl suckers you in that you look at it and like, oh, this looks like it's fun and half a joke kind of game, and then you're like, oh, hang on, now I actually want to win. But it seems like Spartako is not playing up against the Dwarves.
Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed here. I would have liked to see 8 dwarves in tackle zones rather than 0.
I'm very surprised. I mean, the dwarves aren't very fast, but I still feel like they're slightly overextended on the right. If they're not going to go toe to toe with them and start like bashing them. Oh, there we go. That's nicer.
At least he did finish his turn this time, because we've seen him get timed out already.
And stand firm, Blitzer, already doing work.
Now, I was watching Spartako's games when I was studying to play against him. He likes to play this unconnected game. He doesn't like to be the first to connect, because he's always worried about the attrition, I think. And right now, he is down a player, so I don't think he even wanted to connect that way. But I agree with you guys. I would have liked to have seen all of the dwarves tied up in this round.
Especially because the ball is still on the ground.
Yeah.
On top of that, it's raining, and it would have been both runners would have been tagged as well.
Exactly.
I don't like giving up. Yeah, like the dwarves aren't very fast, and the orcs are pretty like they're spread out. They have a good spread, and they're faster. It's just I don't like giving up this much control to let the dwarves decide where they want to go. Because assuming they actually manage to pick the ball up, they have an option now. If they want to go towards the middle or just hang out on one of the sides.
What bothers me is that if they fail their pickup now, which is a 25% chance, they're still not getting punished for it.
Yeah.
I would have very much liked to see either a move around the left flank, so that they could threaten the Spartako could threaten the ball, or a very, very connected play, so that it would be very hard to get safe.
Jesus. Nuffle is not a fan of Knockoff.
Well, at least he won't have the problem of running through 5 rerolls in overtime this time.
Yeah, that thing that I do feel like that both down was.
See,
I mean both.
And right there, that's why you stay connected with that part.
exactly.
That runner fumbling it would have been so much better if he was connected.
Or if he moved around the left flank, or both. Yes.
What do you guys think of the reroll on the dub skulls there? By the way, from Knockoff.
Honestly, I think it's horrible rerolls.
Yeah, I was down with the first one because at least there's a type of morale booster as well. Like you don't want the first turn of the first half to end with the first thing you do. But second one, the setup was there. The ball was protected-ish. Spartako has indicated that he doesn't want to go toe-to-toe with you.
Well, he can still get a blodger next to the ball this turn, even if he doesn't pick it up. Yeah, I don't like it either. But we've seen this before from Knockoff, where he rolls a turnover and then just insta-rerolls without taking a moment to think.
I mean, Spartako does have the right idea because he doesn't need to score. He just needs to stop a point, and then he wins 3rd place in the World Cup 2016. But I would like to see him put more pressure. I think he puts a fairly low-pressure game here, and now he's causing some blocks. I'd really like to see that Longbeard hit the Black Orc hit the Longbeard that's on the side, make a hole for the Blitzer to go through, because the Blitzer with 1 GFI can actually try to pick up the ball and then scatter it somewhere.
Ah, you're talking about the Orcs' right flank rather than the left.
I'm actually looking at Sorry, I'm meaning the Blitzer.
Yes,
the
okay.
leader Black Orc just hits the Blitzer and runs through.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of.
The right flank, he can do almost
push.
the same thing with a stand firm, and a stand
Exactly.
firm on the ball is pretty amazing to me.
Yeah. But he'd need a GFI still. The good thing about either of those is that he can get there with just a push as well. If he pushes the Blitzer, he still needs a dodge, but with the dodge skill. and if he pushes the Longbeard on the right flank, then he's also passed. So yeah, getting a blitzer onto the ball seems very useful. Not for forcing a score even, but for forcing the dwarves to use their blitz to go backwards rather than forwards.
Well, assuming he knocks... Okay, he didn't. That makes it more difficult for the Orcs to go anywhere. He could still just run the blitzer around on the outside, just to have him further up, if he wanted to. Because, I mean, the fact that the dwarves pick it up on a 4+ at the moment, just having someone that's within reach if you fail the pickup is really scary.
I would probably mark the dwarf blitzer with the orc blitzer to keep him from going back. And then you've got Blodge anyway, and he's one of the few players who doesn't have tackle.
There you go. So now there's a line orc.
The problem with pushing on the right side is that you cannot afford to leave such a big hole there, which you could kind of afford to on the left.
Yeah, that's why I personally like just moving the Blodge orc up and around, because you're not really weakening your own positions as much.
Because you're crazy. It has no feelings, and the new one is much better.
He hasn't used the... Okay, here comes the blitz. So I guess...
The blitz was going to be with the dodger, so he can use the extra space to get closer to the ball instead of having to dodge more spaces.
Yeah, but do you think he's going to... He's surely not going to... Do you think he's going to dodge through the Longbeard with tackle? I assume he's just going to go up.
I think he's going to go around. And he'll probably not bother with GFIs. He'll probably just put him in threatening range. I mean, I would just like to see the ball tagged.
Yeah.
I mean, just pushing and putting him here.
Just putting him above the main line of the dwarves severely limits the movement of those two troll slayers as well.
I would expect to see a GFI, and if it doesn't use a reroll, to see another. Getting him on the ball is huge.
Okay, let's see. I mean, he is 2 rerolls up at this point. Nope.
Oh.
Okay. I'm actually
Looks
surprised then that he left him that high up, because now there's a if the dwarf desperately wanted to, there's now a path between.
But of course, the wizard threat is still pretty scary.
Yeah, but I mean, surely you'd worry more about trying to pick it up first, and then you'd worry about the wizard.
But you can't make the pickup safe and your final position safe unless they're at the same spot, which means you're not going anywhere.
I really think that the reason he left the blitzer that high up is because that forces a dwarf to come back and deal with him, and it would actually force 2, and that would put him out of position.
Exactly. Personally, I don't think he's forced to deal with him, but it must not be nice to have him at your back like that.
Yeah, but I don't like him being there, because I feel like that's the least useful position for the orc. He could have had the same pressure, 1 below or 1 above, like 1 below, and if he had 1 up, he'd be in scoring range.
Well, he's also getting a he's also getting a Blodge blitzer hit by a guy without tackle, and Blodge does the trick.
Oh well.
So now he's a cKnoor threat.
You know, I think I remember cKnoor saying, I hate to say that this game looks like it's going really well because the last time that happened, everything turned around. But I really think that that Knockoff has put himself in a position where he's wasted his rerolls.
Oh, what?
Oh, okay.
What?
I think he's rage quitting.
Or that's very likely. My counter argument, my counter idea is that he can move down currently. He can move the thrower down to pick it up, but he doesn't have, or he has to push someone off. But if he fails to pick it up, he might be able to run down Blitzer possibly.
Guinness has to be right about this. I mean, this is not strategy. This is not decision. This is pure tilting.
Well, I agree, but I'm still going to defend it because that seems more interesting to me. So
honestly, I do not want to see a bronze finals where it's the next 6 turns or everybody hitting end turn. I mean, that's really save us the trouble of watching this match if you're not going to play it for real.
Yeah, that's what the concede button is for.
I gotta say, like, I was watching Knockoff's matches when he was coming up because I thought when I made finals, I thought, or semifinals, I thought he was the one who I'd play if I won.
Yeah.
But when I ended up watching, I never really saw a player I wanted to play against one way or the other. He had a great team. He caused a lot of chaos with the rats, and when he was causing a lot of casualties, I thought he had the skills he was going to get through. But now that I'm watching him, and I remember him disconnecting against Pensaval and then having a redo on it, and watching this tilt play, I'm really, really disappointed that I waited 20 days to watch that shitty play right there.
Yes, 20 days, wow.
I'm sorry, I added Knockoff on Steam a while ago to try to talk to him
about
stuff,
you rolled a 6 to pick it up.
He unadded me from Steam because we really didn't need to keep in contact after that. But then I tried to add him again when I was trying to coordinate everybody getting to watch this last time. It didn't happen because of the glitch. But watching that turn into this, just seeing that shitty play, I don't even know what to say about this.
Well, I'm still gonna see where the play is if it's not a tilt play. And the only idea I can think of is that it's raining. You're thinking it's better that the ball is deep in Orc territory. If the Orcs fail to pick it up on their 3+ with a reroll, I might be able to run someone down there, and then suddenly I'm in a really good position to score.
But he doesn't have anyone who can run down there.
He had the Blitzer, but the Blitzer's been knocked down.
Exactly, but that's what happens when you have a turnover.
Yeah, I'm not saying like
you
kind of have to. You have to get a lot of pushes for the strategy to work. But at the same time, like I guess one of the other arguments would be that there's no real point for him to hold on to it anyways, because there's a wizard. Of course, the counter argument to that is you hold on to it so the wizard's used.
Yes.
But I guess we'll find out what happens once Spartako's turn is over. Because if we're going to see some tilt play, I want to see some amazing tilt play. I want to see.
I'm totally going to get
have chat for that.
I want to see some amazing, amazing tilt play. I don't think I can do this. I'm going to foul every player every turn and then make 6+ dodges to get through the thing. I just don't see you throw it in the throat.
Yeah, this is rather painful.
So, I'm going to thank you guys for having me, and I would love to join either of you two sometime when you're casting Blood Bowl, just to chat or commentate on a match or whatever, but I think I'm going to take my leave, hang out with Ash for a little bit, and laugh at this travesty.
Yeah, thanks for
no
joining
offense
in.
Intent,
and you're definitely welcome another time.
Yeah, it'd be great to hang out with you guys. You guys have been great. Actually, cKnoor, I do have to tell you, I've got a friend who is a really big fan of yours from down in California, and he was telling me right after the match, he was like, "Oh my god, I'm so jealous you got commentated on by cKnoor. That was so great."
Well, say hi to him from me.
I will pass it along. You're awesome. Thanks so much.
Say hi to
for hanging
Fash.
out.
See ya.
Oh, now I'm all bothered. Okay, well, it seems like Knockoff is moving people? Possibly?
People in my chat are asking who Guinness is.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm not sure what they're doing here. Well, to be fair, he's always in my chat, so he's probably just trolling.
He's only the player that has taken home the most money playing Blood Bowl 2.
Ever. Playing Blood Bowl ever, actually. Yes.
Yeah. Unless there's like a black market Blood Bowl ring that we don't know about. Like in some shitty back room in some Chinatown somewhere where people just meet and play Blood Bowl for the big money.
I really want this to be true.
Yes.
Where there's like huge gambling involved and you know, coaches throwing games like this actually. Huh.
Yeah. Someone coming in.
I think we're onto something. Maybe there's huge betting rings and Knockoff has been bought off. That would be the best scenario actually in terms of intrigue.
Yeah. That said though, it's one of those it's also, I mean, I can understand why someone can get frustrated while playing Blood Bowl. You would kind of assume that these coaches know what it's like to be on getting some bad rolls and then kind of mitigate that. But of course, you do not want that when you're in a match where everything's on the line, where like I actually have to do okay here.
The way I see it, if you get tilted that easily by Nuffle giving you a couple of double skulls, then you probably don't get that good.
Oh no, that's actually the thing that surprises me a bit, because I agree. I'm not expecting any of the coaches that have made it this far to tilt that easily, because surely getting this far means that you've actually had some turns where you got really bad rolls.
Exactly, but more importantly, if you get angry at Nuffle for losing games, then that's going to get in the way of your learning to play better, right? Yeah. So the best coaches are those that have come to terms with Nuffle, I think. Ah, so sad. This really makes me want to get out there and shake him and yell at him or something.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's Blood Bowl is a cruel mistress.
True that. I have gotten angry while playing on occasion, but it's pretty rare, I have to say.
I mean, for me, it's usually one of those cases where like it's hard to stay. Like I've had losing streaks, but I usually just tell myself that it's me being bad rather than the dice. I think one of the things that's if you want to be a good, or if you want to have an enjoyable time while playing Blood Bowl, I think it helps being slightly bad at remembering how bad your rolls actually are, because then you can still, I mean, you can still pretend then at some point that you're like, oh, I rolled badly, but I probably didn't roll that badly. Whereas, like, because sometimes you do. Sometimes you actually do roll that badly.
It happens, yes. And I think it's fine to give like appropriate attribution to which factors make you lose, but it's so much easier to mistake bad play for bad dice.
Yeah. It's one of my the thing. If you want to get me slightly annoyed when I'm playing on stream Blood Bowl, if you're playing against me, it really helps to accuse me of having good dice. Because that's probably in my mind one of the shittiest things you can do, because then you're not acknowledging that your opponent is actually decent at the game. You're just saying that, oh, if you weren't lucky, I'd be winning.
Yeah, that sounds very familiar. I had one like that just the other day, who then said, well, I'm sure you don't play tabletop, and then I said, well, I do have a couple of NAF trophies, and then he didn't believe me. He actually looked up my NAF number, and then afterwards he said, okay, but that's not you, that's a friend of yours, right? I mean, where do you get off?
That's pretty amazing, because that never happens to me, because I'm always assuming that the people I'm coming up against wouldn't know what NAF is when they're doing that type of complaining. That's amazing. My favorite one is probably one I had like a few weeks ago, where I was accused of using mods.
Yeah, I know that one.
Which and that was also from some guy who claimed he'd been playing for like forever, and I'm like, yeah, but who told you that there are mods to roll well? Because the guy was like, no, everyone's rolling way better than me. Surely they must be using mods.
Yeah, I can see where that comment comes from when people play Fumble, because the average level of coaching is so much better that people feel completely overwhelmed, because they're used to playing in their tabletop league against others who also only play that tabletop league, and they win like 2/3 of their matches, and then they come on to Fumble where others play thousands of games, and then they suddenly realize, oh my god, I'm losing all the time, and they think it must be the dice. But in Blood Bowl 2, if you play in the COL, you shouldn't experience it that much, because the level shouldn't be that different, right?
No.
I'm not sure about the Mr. Hatwicks though.
Well, I mean, I think it's I'm always at this point, when the game's been out for quite a while, I'm always really worried about, like, because at some point the difference between playing for 10 years and playing for like 1 or 2 years doesn't necessarily have to be that great. Like, I'm not saying you plateau, but playing casually for 10 years because you enjoy the game doesn't necessarily mean that you're a much better coach than someone who's been playing it for, like, for example, Guinness.
Yeah. Well, I do think Guinness probably still has a lot of growth in him, which means he's just really, really talented.
I think something that kind of hints to the fact that he's good at Blood Bowl, other than is taking this thing actually seriously, is him going like, well, when I was watching my opponents play, like going back and actually watching their play style to see what they were doing. That's
he did his homework, yes, definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
Not just in that regard, by the way. He's also been keeping tabs on everything and collecting stats and doing a great job supporting the whole discussion about the World Cup, really.
Mm-hmm. No, and I think speaking of what the chat is currently saying, it seems like Knockoff has decided to take a break from trying to win this game and just see if he can do some damage. Yeah, even my cat is for this. Aren't you, Thursday? Yeah.
And I mean, it's silly, because in this case, these teams aren't going anywhere.
No.
Even just dealing damage is not going to be more than mildly therapeutic.
I mean, in theory, so he could run down a runner or two in the next turn and then try and get to the blitzer. But the only thing that's going to happen is Spartako is going to use the wizard and knock that player down.
Yeah, it also doesn't seem to be what he's even trying to do. He's just looking for the best gang file every turn.
I think, just speaking of the of our discussion about how, like, getting 20 years experience or 2 years of experience, I think the one thing it says about you having 10, 15, 20 years of experience is that you can definitely, you clearly enjoy Blood Bowl. Good on you. Because otherwise you wouldn't be playing for 20 years. And I think that's...
Well, there's also a huge difference in terms of number of years and number of matches.
Yeah.
I mean, I've played against people who have been playing since 2nd edition, and who have played 100 games in that time span. And I've also been playing against people who started in CRP, like myself, and who've played thousands of games.
That's actually that's one of the things I'm really looking forward to because of course the Euro Bowl is happening this fall in Sweden, which for those of you who don't know it's a big tabletop tournament with teams from country teams from a lot of different nations in Europe.
Are the British still allowed in?
I think so. I am not up to because I'm lazy. I'm not up to date with the current or a few the controversies with the different teams in tabletop. But it'll be really interesting if we can get the streaming and casting to work well and good, because we have to figure out how to tell the different minis apart. It'll be really interesting to see what the level of play is like.
It should be pretty serious. I was at the Euro Bowl in Belgium, I think 2 years ago or something, and there was some pretty high quality play. They also streamed the finals, or maybe some. I think they had one highlight table that they streamed every game of or something. Yeah.
Now I have a test recording here on a USB stick that I'll probably upload to my Oh hey, a KO.
Oh, now he can't foul it. KO stole his gang foul. That's so sad.
Sad times. Well, not if Spartako appos this. Because I don't think he's used because he hasn't used the reroll. And that's the leader one. So he'd lose a reroll if he let him get off the pitch.
Such excitement, huh? Yes, the Lord has the right of it. This was a bad manners apothecary. Just to rub his face in it.
Oh, maybe Spartako will throw the fireball, but he can't get a really good one. So,
well, he can gather some players together.
Yeah,
and round them up.
He can get a 4.
He can also position in such a way that he can get them all into a fireball next turn.
Yeah. Or what he could do if he wanted to be really mean, he could.
I like where this is going already.
He could run the thrower up and just punt it the other way.
Yes. Yeah. I actually, the Black Sea was suggesting something like that. It would be pretty glorious, especially if it does it next turn.
Yeah.
When it's perfectly safe. Yeah, I like that. I hope he does.
Well, seems like the Orcs are running away. Oh, I really want him to punt it back now.
Yeah, I wish I could just yell out onto the pitch.
This is one of those times where I feel like esports haven't really gone far enough, because there's no way to activate the fans in the stands to shout things. It's only like punt it, punt it, punt it.
Well, we do have it on the stream, as in the sound effects, but not quite on the pitch. Actually, Fumble has more fan player interaction than than Bloodbowl 2 does.
Okay. Well.
So I saw that you sent some names into space. What was that about?
It's Paradox, one of the latest games, Stellaris, which is a 4X game, has one of the... For some reason, it ended up being the pre-order bonus for the game was that you could put your name in a list and we'd send it up into almost space. It started out just as like a fun marketing thing because we like to do those, and then for some reason it turned into the pre-order. And so someone had to send it into space, and it was supposed to be me and Martin, who's the current game designer for Stellaris, who were going to do it. But he got sick on the day that we were leaving, and the way airline tickets work nowadays, it was in his name, so we couldn't book it in someone else's name. So I had to go on my own, which was not as fun. But it's still sending a weather balloon into almost space is still pretty exciting, which it was. It was just it's just kind of horrible because I had to get up at like I was picked up at 4:45 in the morning.
Wow. How did it go?
It went surprisingly well because the guy who I was with, Chris, he I don't think he does it for a living, but it's one of his, like, it's a hobby of his. So different companies, you can hire him and he'll organize everything and get the permits and whatnot. That's why we were doing it in the UK rather than Sweden, because permits. Apparently I'm getting a lot of sausages. Good. So basically it's a latex balloon. It's a weather balloon. You fill it with like 3 cubic meters of helium, and that just then ascends 5 meters a second, kind of not straight up but up. And then it had a GoPro attached. It had like 4 different tracking systems. And once it goes up, you kind of just have to look at the tracking system and follow it on the roads that are available. So that's kind of what we spent. Like, we sent it up and then we spent 2 hours following it, and Chris being like, ooh, I hope it doesn't land on Luton Airport because that'd be bad.
Yeah, you could probably get in trouble over that.
Yeah, it ended up in a pea field in the end. Okay, come on, Spartako, don't forget the whistle.
Fireball.
Yeah, need to fireball something somewhere.
We have the holy hand grenade.
I mean, you have the punt and the fireball left.
Yeah, you can't really do both though.
No, well,
because they end your turn.
Well, he could start with a fireball, I guess, but I don't think he'd do that.
Yeah. I'm really curious how the chat for this game went.
Yeah. Because it might be that the whole thing is very good-natured and like Spartako going like, I'm just gonna punt it, but like even if it's a serious game as Knockoff's opponent, that kind of punt is really like, it's not you. Even if you're like, oh, that's very nice that you're giving up, but it's at least to me, it's no fun when an opponent takes the win out of your hands. Essentially saying, I don't think I'm going to win, so I'm going to give up.
In my experience, the people who tilt like this are not the people that say, hey, congrats, you won.
Well,
they're the kind of people who go rant at either you or Nuff or both.
Yeah, like I kind of agree. I'm just like, I don't want to say it because I don't know Knockoff.
You don't want to assume the worst. Yeah,
exactly. I'm gonna assume the best, but yes, I would agree with the general statement you just made.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say that I'm really disappointed in the fact that Knockoff did this. Even with 3 double skulls, even with no rerolls, it could have happened. He didn't lose, he gave up, and that's way worse.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree with that. It's the one thing that actually I would argue loses you more games than anything is in Blood Bowl is like giving up, especially giving up too early. I don't think anyone would argue that it was an easy road for Knockoff at the start of the second half, but it was there was 1 or 2 Hail Mary plays that could have been made.
He made a 6+ pass.
Yeah.
in the first game. I mean,
That's true. That is very true.
yeah. But we've all seen moments that where you think, oh, I've basically lost already. I just need to finish my blocks. Hey, I guess that's a 6 plus 5 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1 die play. Sure, let's try it, and then it just works.
Yeah, I mean, who hasn't dodged out a bloodletter or a bloodthirster in Blood Bowl Chaos Edition, and then dodged through three tackles on his done 2 JFIs to score?
Well, I'm pretty sure I haven't. I've never played as Khorne because I've never played Blood Bowl Chaos Edition.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They're actually surprisingly fun.
I looked at the roster and thought this could be entertaining. I think it's very successful at not being tier 1.
Yeah, it's. I think it's the first and only, in my mind, Blood Bowl race where the big guy is essential to the team, and without the big guy, it kind of falls apart.
Barring stunties, I guess.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I guess I could see that.
Oh no, he's running out of time.
Oh my god, that's gonna cost him.
It's stuck at 0. Why is it stuck at 0?
Oh, this must be a disconnect. He had this before. He didn't act for a while, and then the timer ran out, and turns out the timer actually resets to what it was when he left.
Oh.
If this turns into a disconnect concede, because 6 disconnects gets you a concession, right? This is his third or fourth.
I wouldn't know. I've never experienced that many.
That would be awful.
two more and Knockoff wins that. Says.
Yeah. That would be pretty dreadful. 6 minutes or 6 disconnects.
Okay, is that 6 minutes in total or for each disconnect?
I think it's in total, yes.
Yeah, no, I would agree that this is clearly a Spartako win.
I'm not so sure because if you looked at the rules and regulations of the tournament, it actually specifies that it works per the normal system, including disconnects, including power outages, including all of that.
Yeah, no, I definitely. I'm just. I mean, the rules are the rules. But just looking at like the state of the game, and well, actually, looking at Knockoff actually giving up already.
And it being theoretically impossible for him to score.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, let's hope that's not the case then, because that.
Oh, it's per 6 minutes is per disconnect, so you can add 36 minutes to a game if you're a griefer, and people do this because it's a system in order to cause the other guy to concede. Basically, they stay away for 5.5 minutes and then come back on, and I've never experienced it, fortunately.
No, like me neither, and that's kind of like I've had people claim that, and I'm sure it's happened, but I just feel like since I do play comparatively quite a lot of Blood 2, I feel like I would have experienced it more.
What I did see the other day, and I've heard of this before and I was surprised to see it myself, is someone who played against me. I won the toss I chose to kick. He made his 3 line of scrimmage blocks, then made his blitz, so his chance at star player points, and then he conceded. And I guess his logic is, if I have to kick, I concede. If I can receive, then I play for 3 blocks and a blitz, and then I concede. That way my players are forever safe. Because the only way I ever suffer armor is if I quad skull or get a blitz against. And even then I concede.
Throw a rock.
Yeah, sure. But those players are probably the safest players in the game, except they're not in the game.
My favorite is coming up against Murder Chaos that concede as soon as they use their Apo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially when they concede after their Apo fails. I can giggle maniacally.
Yeah. I hate it when they do it when you're doing the little run-up for your foul on the Mino, and then they concede before the foul lands. I always feel like that foul should at least be processed before their concede is processed. Come on.
Okay. Come on, Spartako, you can do this. You can reconnect. I believe in you.
Did anyone time how long he's been gone?
I don't think. Well, if we look up at chat, Monkey G said 6 minutes 4 minutes ago, so we were talking about it then. This is such a.
This is worse than all Dwarves playoffs. Well, no.
I mean,
because
this
it's only
is
the bronze game.
We've had some tense games in the cup. I don't think we've ever experienced one that's tense quite like this. So
tense while already over. Yes.
Yeah. He could have disconnected, reconnected, and then disconnected again.
But then we should have seen the timer go back on for a moment. Also, that would leave him with only one disconnect. Wow. Given that this is a nerd community, I'm assuming Dr. Mama Basco knows this. But thanks to the Lord. Yes.
Why is this fucking intense for all the wrong reasons?
Yes, exactly. So the bets are closed on who will win this game. We have one person betting for Spartako. This is sad.
Yeah.
I would not expect them to play it now either.
No.
Would you?
I mean, clearly, if you were in Spartako's shoes, you clearly you wouldn't dare to, because there's some.
Oh, they're back.
Holy! Okay.
If this was counter bad manners, if this was disconnect griefing to keep Knockoff in the game longer, then it was pretty expertly done, I have to say.
Yeah, I like that we've gone from assuming the best presentation to just assuming the worst.
Yeah.
Ah, come on, fireball! You're not gonna be able to. Okay. Let's see if Knockoff does anything. I guess the best strat
For Knockoff?
would just be to wait it out. And
actually, it would be to take as many actions as possible, because every action lets you wait for 15 seconds. You know, blitz and then choose where to push him, and then choose whether to follow up or not. That can turn a 4-minute turn into a 10-minute turn.
The clock just jumped back up again. So, guess everyone's having problems.
That could just be Knockoff not being able to act because Spartako was disconnecting.
Yeah, I guess.
Which could mean that he's down to his last one.
Yeah, that's true.
But yes, if Knockoff is also having troubles, or the Cyanide server, that's true.
I don't know how much of it is played on the Cyanide server at the moment. I know that in Chaos Edition most of it was player to player, and only the end bit was on the server, which was kind of a problem then. So hopefully
Really?
they fixed that. Yeah. Most of it was player hosted.
Did you have spectating then as well?
No.
Because that sounds complicated when you also have spectators.
Wait, did we have spectators? Yeah, yes, you did. And yes, it was. Because there was no you only had the dice log. You didn't have any pop-ups. So it's kind of hard to see where blitzes and stuff were going on.
Yeah. This has been more than 15 seconds.
The timer is...
Oh! So who won?
No!
No! Oh.
Okay.
Oh, dude.
Wow. Oh man, that is...
Spartako just conceded after the alcohols, after Knockoff gave up. Dude, that is fucking awful.
Okay. Well,
I'm gonna send Nathios a message.
Yeah. Do that.
And tell him what happened.
Wow, that is literally the worst possible outcome.
Yeah.
That is surprisingly horrible. Wow.
So I informed Nathios he was last online an hour ago. Oh, he's not even watching. So this was interesting.
Yeah. Are you in contact with any of the players?
Nope, I am not.
Oh, actually, they don't need to. Because that one just works, so they don't actually have to. Nathios doesn't have to approve anything.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have a quick look and see whether it started. I don't expect it, but yeah, no, actually, Foxu, Knockoff already gave up. He made a pass to the Orcs, basically saying, "Here, have the ball. It's useless. I'm just rolling double skulls anyway." At least that's our interpretation. But then Spartako disconnected a couple of times and actually lost the game due to disconnect, even though he was guaranteed to win, because it was theoretically impossible for the Dwarves to score still. The Orcs had just been sitting out the game all half, and the Dwarves were being really slow, and then he disconnected one too many times. Ouch. That's dreadful.
Yeah.
I would definitely approve of a strong administrative ruling from Cyanide Focus Nathios saying, this game was over, and Spartako took it home.
Yeah.
But if they follow the rules, then this would go to a third game, technically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's
I'm glad this is not the official cast. If this had been...
I mean, this whole game decider has been kind of cursed.
Yes, quite. Oh, man.
I'm looking to see if anything happened with any of the teams, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like...
where do I find those again?
They have a special league all on their own, so just search for World Cup.
Within COL or...
No, it's outside of CL. So you need a team that's not in the league so you can search for leagues.
Ah, yes.
Which is why I have a team called Searching for Leagues.
Excellent.
It's great. It's a great system.
You're not running into your 25 team limit yet.
No. It's there's no a level up. It's just that. No, I have very few teams actually. Let's see how many teams I have. It's because like I play with all the teams and I never retire them really. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I've only got 14. Well, 15 teams.
I think I was running up against the limit a while ago. And on Fumble, I'm pretty sure I've I ran past the 42 limit, but they increased it to 100. So
yeah,
that's good.
let me find my Fumble. There's only one of my teams I care about on Fumble, which is, where are they? Oh yeah, the Restless Ronins, because they're old enough that they have 3 whites.
Oh wow. I have them in front of me right now. Yeah.
Yeah, this it's also kind of telling that niggles used to work differently.
They're aging niggles, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, they also had a different effect, right? They had a chance of you missing out the game or something.
It's no, the thing a niggle used to do was that before a game, you roll for every niggle a player had, you rolled a die. If any of them were a 1, the player wouldn't play that game.
That sounds pretty terrible, actually.
Yeah, no, it's it's way worse than it is now. But it also meant that in some cases you were like, this player's too good, I'm just going to keep him in.
Well, the thing is, back then with aging, the chance of actually getting a healthy player with a lot of skills was just too slim.
Yep.
It really sounds kind of wrong to me. I mean, if you're going to implement aging in such a way, I would make it guaranteed rather than stochastic, because this way, if you could really play lots and lots and lots and get a healthy player, but your legends just breaking apart. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it was a weird system. Looking at it, I haven't played on Fumble with any, especially my ranked or league teams in forever, and most of the really old ones have a lot of niggles because that's what you did.
All right. So I have the nagging suspicion that we're not going to see a game 3 anytime soon.
Yeah.
So I propose that we end this here.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much for joining me on. Should there be a round 3 match scheduled again, I would gladly invite you over another time, or we can do it over on your stream.
Yeah. Let's do this again.
Yeah. No, this was fun. So thanks for joining me here, cKnoor.
It was the match wasn't amazing, but it was a lovely time. So
cool.
Thanks for casting it.
Sure. See you around.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, cKnoor, and bye, chat as well. Thanks for tuning in for this fiasco, shall we say. Alright, YouTube, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, remember to leave it a thumbs up at the bottom. And of course, if you'd like to see more videos, do check out the channel and hit subscribe on your top right.